Shalom, just want to give all praises and glory and honor to unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Call all to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that I learned the truth from. Peace and salutations unto the chosen elect. Much love unto the Akim that's out there pushing this truth and sincerity. Okay, so I'm just gonna address the comments that were made on the previous video that I did, which was called Cutting Sex Bots and Ibmar. And there is an individual by the name of Soul Traveler. He came on the comment board, and I guess he was offended at what was being stated in the video, and now he's trying to buck up against it, but yet he didn't post any scriptures. He's just talking out of his own mind. So I'm going to address these comments that he made. All right, and hopefully it's edifying, okay, or hopefully that you get edified from it. It says here, I won't accuse you of adding to the book, but again, if there's no law, there is no sin. And he's referring to the issue of having a sex bot or a sex doll, and he's saying that there's no law for it. And I'm going to prove that, you know, there is a law. Okay, and there is formalities that you have to pursue in the scriptures, so you don't defile yourself. And having a sex doll, that's defiling yourself. Okay, and the Lord doesn't like that. Okay, and then another comment, he says, by the way, if you believe in that liar Paul who tells you not to marry, why are you using the Most High's word? And that's a half statement that he made, or that's the half of what Paul said. Okay, so he doesn't explain the full thing, and he's confused, so he doesn't know what the scriptures is saying. And I'm gonna reprove that and bring out the true saying in the scriptures, or I'm gonna bring out the true message of what Paul was saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 8. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. And what he's talking about is as I, meaning Apostle Paul was he made himself into a eunuch, or that's how the Lord, or that's what the Lord put the Spirit on him to be one, so he wouldn't deal with women. Okay, he didn't pursue women. And he's telling them that's okay if you do this. Okay, there's no sin in that, as long as you're pursuing and devoting yourself to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai while doing it. And there are certain men and women out there that they're going to have that spirit on them. The Lord's going to put that spirit on them to just not be married. Okay, which is to have sex. Okay, this is and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but there's formalities, and there's a certain etiquette that you have to follow while being unmarried and while you're being married. Okay, you can't just do whatever you want. And this is what he goes on to explain here in the 9th verse. It says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. So cannot contain, meaning they wanting to be married and pursue a relationship, and that desire to procreate, okay, or to have sex. Okay, so he tells them, if you cannot contain, just get married then. Okay, because that's better than burning. Okay, so when you look at the word here, burn in the Greek, pyro or pyro, right?
Strong's G 4448. Purao.
Okay, and it says burn, fiery, be on fire, try to burn with fire, to set on fire, kindle, to be on fire, to burn, to be incensed, indignant, make to glow, full of fire, fiery, ignited, of darts filled with inflammable substances, and set on fire, melted by fire, and purged of dross. To kindle, passively, to be ignited, glow, literally, be refined, by implication, or figuratively, figuratively to be inflamed with anger, grief, lust, burn fiery, be set on fire. And that burning, when you're burning, these are the type of emotions that you're going to feel when you're burning. You're going to feel anger, you're going to feel grief, you're going to feel lust. Okay? Now, if you're feeling these emotions while you're abstaining, then you have to get yourself a woman or get married. Okay? And that doesn't mean get yourself a sex doll, because that isn't a real thing. That's just a form of lust. Okay? Now you're burning. Okay? And that's not and like I said in my previous video, that's not a good avenue to channel your energy through a sex doll. Just get yourself a woman, man. It's pretty simple. But he wants to buck up against that. Okay, so he's offended. So I just corrected what Paul said. He said, okay, if you don't want to deal with a woman, that's fine. But make sure you're doing the work of the Lord. Okay, which I'm going to bring out in the scripture. Now, if you can't go without having a woman, then get married. Okay? And vice versa for the woman. Okay? Get married, have a children, but make sure you pursue the Lord while you're doing it. Okay? That's the etiquette. Okay? And Ibmore, they're not teaching you the etiquette. They're just telling you to do whatever you want. Okay? And they have a problem because that's a Jake in the world. Jake doesn't want to do the right thing. They don't want to be formal. They don't want to have etiquette. They just want to do their own shit and follow and try and be separate from the so-called white man, but not using the Lord's methods. Okay? So let me continue on here. I'm gonna jump down to the 27th verse. All right. Oh, and actually, before I do that, to burn really goes back to what desire, right? And the word desire is synonymous for the word passion. Okay, and passion means fire. Okay, so if you have a fire, man, and there's a demon upon those sex dolls, man. That's why the Lord, he told you. That's why he put the Spirit on Paul to tell you that make sure you get a woman, because those emotions are gonna lead you into that Cupid spirit, man. Okay, that Cupid and that masturbation spirit. Okay, so let me get the word Cupid, because there's a deity. And I'm going to just cut you guys, you Ibmore guys. You're not doing anything new, because in your videos, you make it sound like getting a sex doll is something new. Okay, you make it sound like it's the new thing or the new fashion or something that you created out of thin air that's going to replace something. But I got words for you. You're doing the same thing what other men in the ancient world have been doing. And those men were heathen nations, man. Okay? They practiced using masturbation dolls or whatever, man. Okay? And I'm going to get into that history. So it says Cupid, Roman god of passionate love. So fiery love. Okay? Which really goes back to lust. Okay? Desire, love. From cupere to desire. Cupidity. Okay? Which that's a demon. And that's the same type of energy that all these devices in these so-called sex shops, that's the vibration that it's under, that Cupid spirit. And funny thing, we're in February, and more of that spirit is going to come out, because you have something called Valentine's Day. Okay, and a lot of you guys are gonna go get your deals, your Valentine deals, and get your sex dolls, and try and get your vibrators for your woman and shit, and that all falls under cupidity. Okay, so let me get Cupid here. All right. In classical mythology, Cupid, meaning desire, is the god of desire, erotic love, attraction, and affection. He is often portrayed as the son of the love goddess Venus and the war god Mars. He's also known in the Latin as Amor. Okay. Although Eros is generally portrayed as a slender, winged youth, in classical Greek art during the Hellenistic period, he was increasingly portrayed as a chubby boy. During this time, his iconography acquired the bow and arrow that represented the source of power, a person or even a deity who was shot by Cupid's arrow is filled with uncontrollable desire. And that's uncontrollable desire. And that's why the Lord, he told the Apostle Paul to make sure you show them the etiquette when pursuing not to being married and when pursuing to being married. Okay, because you're gonna go through uncontrollable desires, man. And when you're feeling those desires, make sure you get a woman to alleviate those desires before you go off and sin. Okay, because a lot of our people, they're in this same spirit. Okay, so that shows you that. And let me jump down now to the 27th verse here. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 27. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. Okay, so if you have a wife, that's okay. All right, don't cut off your wife, you know, just because you want to. If you have a wife, just deal with her according to the law. Art thou loose from a wife? Seek not a wife. So if you don't have one and you're fine with it, don't seek one. It's plain and simple. Okay? But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. So there's no sin if you don't marry. Okay? And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. A young woman, if she married, she didn't sin either. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. Yeah, and you're going to have trouble in the flesh. Okay? You're going to have trouble with when you have a woman. Okay? When you're married. Okay? There's going to be a lot of demons that are going to hop on your woman to try and get you out of this truth and try to not make you pursue the word of the Lord. Okay? Right? And that's what you see. The thing is, Ibmore, they know that a woman is trouble in the flesh, right? But, you know, they go about the wrong way about controlling their desires and pursuing a healthy lifestyle, man. Okay? But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. So even if you have a wife, you know, be as though that you're single. Okay, and what does that mean? You still have to be diligent in pushing this word. Okay, you have to put the Lord first, so to speak. All right. And it says, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Okay, and that's the thing, man. You're not supposed to abuse this world and go into the fashion of it, and pursuing a sex doll. That's the fashion of this world, man. Okay, and let's prove it. Let's look at the word fashion here. Okay. Let's look at the word fashion in the Greek. Schema or schahama.
Strong's G 4976. Schema.
Okay, so it says the habitus as comprising everything in a person which strikes the senses, the figure, bearing, disclosure, actions, and manner of life. Okay, and this is really referring to the social aspect of what the world offers out there, the things of the flesh, man, the carnal things. All right, and I'm going to get into that word habitus here. It says, okay, and it says, as a mode or circumstance, by implication, external condition. And that's exactly what the world deals with. They deal with the external, not the internal. And what do I mean by internal? The spiritual. Okay? All right? Because the Lord is dealing with what you have in your mind and how you and your sincere motives on how you want to serve him spiritually. It's not about the way you look, okay, or the way how you act in the outer appearance, okay. If you wanna, if you act upon the spiritual things first, then you're gonna put out that same energy when you're wearing the external, okay. So you think before you act, okay. And this world doesn't teach you how to think before you act. It just teaches you how to react, then think of the consequences later, or not to think of the consequences at all. Okay. So let me look at that word habitus here. Habitus, sociology. Habitus is a system of embodied dispositions, tendencies that organize the ways in which individuals perceive the social world around them and react to it, and that's what's going on in the way the world or the way of the world. They're telling you that the sex doll is a new in thing. You should pursue it. Okay, you should pursue it. You don't have to deal with a woman's bullshit. It's like the new norm of the day. It's like the new woman. It's like the new substitute of having a woman. And that's what Ibmore is promoting, man. Okay? All right? And really, they're just reacting to what Esau put in front of them. Because it wasn't no Jake guy who invented that sex doll. It's really who's behind the production of it. It's you so-called white people. And you Jakes, you take it and eat it. And you go along with it in this social world. Okay, but the scripture says you're not supposed to be a part of the world, right? So this is 1 John chapter 2, and I'm going to start at the 15th verse, and it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And you loving a sex doll is a part of loving the world, man. Okay, and the Lord didn't ordain you to have that. Okay. All right. Let me go back here. Finish it. See if it's finished. Okay, so let me get to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 32. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord. Okay, so Ibmore promotes, why should I get married? Why should I have kids? Why? Why should I do that? It's like they came up, you didn't come up with that epiphany yourself, because there are many men in the ancient world who were thinking like that. Why should I have kids? Why should I do that? Okay, fine, you don't want to have kids. That's fair. Okay, all right, fine. That's okay, that's respectable. But what are you doing with that time? Okay, when you're not pursuing a marriage, you're supposed to put your time and energy in doing this work, and Ibmore is not doing that. Okay, so really your lifestyle is vain, because you're not pursuing to doing the things of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so it says, let me read it again. But he that is married careth for the things, Salakia, verse 32. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. So if you're not married, all right, and you don't have that desire to pursue a woman, so then what should you be occupied in? You should be occupied in scripture and giving testimony, doing videos, helping the brotherhood. Okay. All right. But Ibmore is not doing that. He's coming on the page scoffing, man. By the way, if you believe that you're a liar Paul, who tells you not to marry, why are you using the Most High's word in his pompous fucking tone, man? Most High's gonna deal with guys like that, man. When you don't even know what you're talking about. Just shut up and learn the word, man. Okay? Shut up, man. Alright, so, verse 33. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, but he may please his wife. Alright? And, when you have a lot of women around you, you're more susceptible to being carnal, man. a majority of the time. A lot of great men have fell off because they put a woman before the Lord. Okay, so that's what the apostle Paul is warning you about. Okay, there's a difference also. All right, and that's all I want from this scripture. Okay, now I'm going to go into the word masturbation. Now he wants to talk about, now I covered what Paul said because he's not a liar. All right, now I'm going to talk about how this is going off, this form of sex doll shit. It's a sin. All right, so let's look up the word masturbation first. Okay, masturbation, from the noun, modern Latin, masturbationem, okay, or nominative to masturbatio. Okay, so it says to masturbate, the long-standing speculation, all right, okay, probably by influence of turbare, to disturb, confuse, okay, ablative of manus, hand, okay, because you use your hand or whatever, defile, oneself, defilement, dishonor, okay, related to stupere, to be stunned, stupefied, okay, so masturbation, it's a form of defiling, man, okay, defiling and dishonor, okay, and that's all you're doing with a sex box, because that's just a masturbating device that you use. Okay, so yes, you're defiling yourself, and when you defile yourself, the Lord ain't dealing with you. He don't like to be around people like that. And that's what sin is. It's really a form of defilement. Okay? When you sin, you defiled yourself. When you commit a homosexuality, you're defiled. You're an abomination. The Lord can't deal with you like that. So now let me prove it. Okay? Let me prove it now. This is an article that I found here. All right? It's called A Straight Male History of Sex Dolls. Since ancient times, men have been getting it on with synthetic women. Is this just fantasy masturbation or something more troubling? And it's something more troubling. Okay, and like I said earlier, you guys in Ibmore, you're not creating anything new. This is a lifestyle that has already been pursued. And this guy came on the comment board before saying that, oh, let me see if I can find it. All right. Okay. Black American women are our enemies. Sex dolls are a temporary exit. Ibmore will save black men before your fake Jesus and fake religion. So, you know, he's saying that obviously this is a temporary exit, but it's not a right one. But you're not doing the same. You're doing the exact same things as what these men in the ancient world were doing, man. So it's nothing new. And Ibmore, it will not save black men. Okay? And by the way, Yahushua is coming back to take down Ibmore because they don't push the whole truth. That thing's going to be burned away just like America. And that's just another philosophy, man. And it's very subtle because it sounds pleasing to the mind. It's about black encouragement. You know, they talk about white supremacy, but they don't talk about you channeling the right or using the right energy to get by in serving Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And it's pretty clear on what he believes, right? But let me just get back to the article. It says, but Pygmalion's true modern heir might be Dave Cat, a man who lives in southeastern Michigan with 3 high-end sex dolls, his first purchase. And by the way, when you look up this word Pygmalion, right, it goes back to the Greek, right? Pygmalion, right? It says is a legendary figure of Cyprus, though Pygmalion is the Greek version of the Phoenician royal name Payamatan. He is most familiar from Ovid's narrative poem Metamorphosis, in which Pygmalion was a sculptor who fell in love with a statue he carved. A graven image that he carved. So that can't be good. We know what the scriptures say about graven images. All right. And that's the same spirit a sex doll's coming in, man. Because what do you guys do today? You go to the modern day witch, okay, which are those sculptures okay, and you ask them to make a sex doll in your image, and then you fall in love with it, and then you pop it and say, oh, that's the one that I want. You people are sick, man. All right. In Ovid's narrative, Pygmalion was a Cypriot sculptor who carved a woman out of ivory. According to Ovid, after seeing the Propitites, he was not interested in women. Okay, so he's like you, which proves that you guys are in that same spirit, that Greek spirit, man. You're in that same Greek spirit, weirdo spirit, all right? But his stature was so beautiful and realistic that he fell in love with it. And that's what they say about sex dolls today. It looks so beautiful and real that I could fall in love with it. So this is nothing new under the sun, all right? And this is not inspiring. It's boring. It's the same shit over and over again. And you guys are those same people coming back in the reincarnation, doing this stuff. Okay? So let's get back to the article. I cut that. A man who lives, he considers his wife, the other two named Elena and Muriel, are just infinite friends. Oh, before I get that, because it said a sculpture, what did the Lord, there's a law on that. There's a law. Exodus chapter 20 verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath. Okay? Now, earth beneath, that's talking about now isn't a figure of a woman something that's seen on the earth beneath. Okay? And we just read a lot of these men in the ancient world, they were doing that. They were making images and carving them into their own image and falling in love with it. Right? So it says here, verse 5, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Okay? And you are serving another power, whether you believe it or not. You're doing it, but you don't know that you're doing it. Because the Lord, he set up an order for you to marry a physical woman. That's why he gave Adam a helpmate, a physical helpmate. He didn't give Adam a sex bot. Okay? All right? And that's how the Lord wants it. He wants you to have a real relationship that you can build upon, so you can be fruitful and multiply. So technically, this shows that you're going off, because you're not following the right formal etiquette that the Lord set up. Okay? Now let's get the word formalities, or formality, because I keep using that word. Formality. Formality. All right? The rigid observance of rules, of convention or etiquette. He retained the formality of his social background. So the Lord is creating a social etiquette. All right, and having a relationship between a man and a woman, that's a form of a social etiquette that the Lord created for us to enjoy, and he likes it when you enjoy it. He likes it when you pursue that. Okay, and having a sex doll, you're not doing that. You're going out of the formality. So right now, in the sight of Yahweh B'Shem Yoshai, you don't have etiquette. You're lawless. You don't have rules. Okay. And you have no fucking class, okay? Have the relationship between a man and a woman, that's a form of class. That's classy in the sight of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay? That's all I really want to show on that, okay? So don't come to me with that shit on the comment board, man. I ain't gonna listen to that. Nobody's gonna listen to that. That's unjust. Though he didn't sculpt them, they are his creations. He designed their bodies before they were manufactured, and their personalities after they arrived. That's creepy. There was never a moment when Sidor, or any doll for that matter, was merely an object to him. He told me when we spoke last year. So it wasn't just an object. He was having an actual relationship. And that's a psychological problem. And they want to lead black men into that, man. So-called black men, which is the men of the tribes. You Negroes, Haitians, and West Indians, man, from the Southern Kingdom. Okay? And you other Latin tribes too, man. Because you're going to do this as well. You know, you guys are freaky too. Though Dave Cat may be one of the most visible modern sex doll owners with an active blog and appearances in articles, documentaries, and TV spots, he's part of a community called idolaters. These owners of high-end animatically correct dolls use them for sex, love, art, and companionship. And that's not the right order. So that's what they're going to do, a temporary, whatever he made it sound like, a temporary exit. Right? But you're still going off, whether it's temporary or not. Okay? Let me get to the point. Actually, it says here, if Pagamilian lived in today's world, none of this would be too foreign to him. So like I said, you're doing nothing new. You're doing nothing new. All right? And it isn't gonna prosper to anything. How could you prosper on the things that the men of the ancient world did in the past, man? So what does this tell you? You have to just go in the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. In Ovid's original story, there is some implication that the sculptor was not only in love with the statue, but that he had sex with it before it came to life. Damn. According to the erotic doll, a book by Dr. Marquid Smith, the head of doctoral studies and the research leader at the Royal College of Arts School of Humanities, other tales of statue love can be found throughout classical antiquity. For example, the Greek rhetorician Athenaeus wrote of a man who had a physical love affair with a statue of Cupid. And that's a demon. You know, you're really fucking Cupid, man. You're coming in that same vibration. In a somewhat more recent example, a gardener was reportedly found attempting to get it on with a replica of the Venus de Milo in 1877. All right, so here we go. Throughout history, men without access to beautiful statues, but with an inclination to make love to a woman-shaped things, have made do in various ways. Sailors often use cloth to fashion fornicatory dolls known as dames de voyage in French or dama de voyage in Spanish. In modern-day Japan, sex dolls are sometimes known as Dutch wives, a reference to the hand-sewn leather masturbation puppets. And that's all a sex doll is. It's a masturbation puppets. And we read the definition of masturbation. It means to defile, dishonor. Okay, now let's get the scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. Because why? Your temple, you're the vehicle that is going to be used by Yahweh Shai to serve him. Okay, and he doesn't want a dirty vehicle. All right, he doesn't want something that stinks. Okay, and you popping a sex doll is a form of defilement because it's a masturbation puppet. So the Lord ain't dealing with somebody who's doing that. Okay, and that in turn shows that you're going off. All right, now it says verse 18, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise. And Ibmore says that's a wise thing to do in this world, or in this American Edomite world. They say that getting a sex doll is wise. Why? Because you save resources. You don't have kids. You don't have to worry about child support. But in the sight of the Lord, you're a fool, because you're really just in that Cupid spirit, and you're not following the formal rules of what the Lord set up, the customs of being an intimate relationship. Okay, so that's foolish. All right, let him become a fool that he may be wise. And that's why the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, they use that slogan that their elders in the past use. I think it was Elder Yaikwab. He said, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on. All right, and if you can't get this, we're going to just move on. And what does that mean? The Lord's going to move on. So you can stew in your own shit, because when the Lord comes back, he's going to kill you. All right, because you wanted to be rebellious. All right, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. All right, so the Lord ain't dealing with sex dolls. It's foolish to him. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. All right. Okay. And that's let's look at the word craftiness. Okay. Shrewdness as demonstrated by being skilled in deception. That is a deception. You really believe, the white man's so skilled with his witchcraft that he made you idiots out there that believe, he deceived you idiots into believing that being with a sex doll is a temporary exit. A temporary exit. When that isn't a temporary exit, that just leads you to more problems. What happens now, man? And these sex dolls, they're opening up new avenues to bring in more perversion, because now you're going to have sex doll animals. Now you're going to have children's sex dolls. Now you're going to have homosexual sex dolls. So this is just more of a breeding ground to breed in more wickedness, cunning, foxiness, guile, slyness, willingness, craft, ostentiousness. All right. Okay, so you get the point. Let me go back to the scripture. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. So your thought process is vain because it's empty, because you're repeating the same shit that these other heathen nations did, and it's not going to amount to anything. Okay, and there's a saying in the world, history just repeats itself, and that's in the scriptures. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So everything's coming back into their lot again, man, and that's you guys in Ibmore. Okay, you were doing this in the past, popping dolls and going into the ways of the heathen. So this is nothing new. And what did the Lord do to Sodom and Gomorrah? He destroyed it. And they were practicing all type of wickedness in there like this, man. So he's going to just destroy you again. And with that, I hope this was edifying. It was a bit long. But if you watch the video to the end, I hope it was edifying. And just want to give all praises and glory and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Call all to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. That I learned the truth from and rule well. And with that, shalom.